Hey everyone, welcome to my channel where I talk about God goals in grad school. My name is Ashley Freeman and welcome to one of my new sets. So excited for you to be here. I'm here to talk about grad school today, and it's just a really important time because it's all about applications. It's application season and it's really stressful and pretty crazy, and you are coming here for answers on how to stand out. Now more than ever, standing out is going to be it's just going to be different this year. You know, there's not a lot of big events that you can throw, and there's a lot of fatigue going on because of working through a pandemic. Things are just going to look different. Additionally, we're starting to see some schools even dropping the GRE or GMAT requirement. And I know for some of you, you're like, oh my God, that was going to be my thing. That was going to set me apart. Well, I'm here to tell you that there's still a few things that you can do, and I'm going to focus on that one piece of your application that you have full control over, and that is your personal statement. So I figure this is going to be a few different videos. I'm going to start this video with a story about what not to do, because it's just so important. You can learn so much from mistakes as you can from other people's successes as well. So if this is really interesting to you, then keep on watching. If it's not, then you can click up here and you can see a lot of my other videos where I talk about just, like I said, God goals in grad school. So let's get started. The first time around when I was applying to business school, I put together this elaborate story about my work priorities and my entrepreneurial priorities and how they conflicted with family, and there were just these layers. It was very cinematic, and I was really proud of it. Actually, I think that it was a valuable artifact as a result of reflecting on some key tensions in my life. You know, like, I wanted to be an entrepreneur. I also wanted to make money and was a little impatient. So I juggled two careers at the same exact time. And then I learned how that wasn't very sustainable, and how there are certain things that are more important than even those two things. So that's a great story, right? Like, you're intrigued, you're bought in. Though I definitely benefited from that reflection and introspection, which has helped me in the future, my execution on creating this as a personal statement, well, it didn't work. And I know it didn't work because I didn't get into the school the first time. From that, I do want to say that there are some things that I did do well. Number one, I did reflect. I reflected on what was most important, the most salient points in my life that I could start to think about and tie into why I was interested in attending the Michigan Ross School of Business. I told a story. That is a second point that is going to be very important. You are going to be against hundreds, if not thousands, of people who are also trying to do the exact thing that you're trying to do. So you want to tell a story. That is how you're going to stand out. So yes, I did that too. And I think that, you know what, those are the kudos that I'm gonna give to myself. One thing though is that from that experience, I learned that my story, even though it was cinematic and sweeping, I think it was too complex. And I didn't tell you the whole storyline of my personal statement. I actually simplified it as I was describing it. But even in my simplification, you can tell that there are certain layers. My full-time job, entrepreneurship, family, tension, all of this is a lot. And you don't have that much space to be able to elaborate on those things. And if you can't elaborate on key points, then you're going to leave yourself open for your audience to get confused. And that is just something that you really want to avoid. One tip I have for you to make sure that you try to mitigate that and try to get the right kind of feedback to avoid that pitfall is to assemble like your kind of editing board. And by that, I don't mean someone who's going to wordsmith everything, and I don't mean an admissions consultant. I don't think that it's necessary for you to have an admissions consultant in order to be a successful applicant in a business school. I think it could help you, and I think it could not help you. So it's just, I'll leave that there. What I mean by the editing board is some people who know you, who are willing to read a couple drafts. By all means, you might want to conserve their energy. You will want to try to edit as much as you can for clarity, for grammar, and for the storyline before you go to your editing board. But when you do go to your editing board, I think it's going to be very important to tell them what you are trying to accomplish with your personal statement. Give them the prompt to your personal statement, but the one secret for that is that don't give it to them up front. Have them read it, have them react, and then you can have them turn over to the prompt to see if it resonates and if it even matches the prompt. I think sometimes we get really wrapped up in our own stories that we kind of forget that there's actually something that you're supposed to be answering. And by all means, do not submit your application without making sure you're answering the question. That is just so critical. So you can use your editing board to make sure that you are hitting the mark with that. The other tip that I have for you is to listen to your editing board. I will tell you, when I gave my cinematic masterpiece of a personal statement to my editing board, which is my dad and my fiance at the time, I was super married to it. I was so committed that it told my story. And I was actually a little surprised when both my dad and my fiance were pretty confused by some points. And I was just like, you know what? It's okay. Like, you just don't get it. Like, the admissions people, like, they want a story. They want to be able to be captivated by this. And I think that my personal statement achieves that. I did take some feedback, but I was pretty sure that some things that they were confused about were just pretty important because it really helped form the story that I was looking to create. Well, I'm not applying to go to film school, people. I'm actually applying to go to business school. And my editing board happens to be the two most logical people that I know. And, business schools kind of favor logic. So it was really a big blind spot for me to ignore their feedback because A, they are very logical people, and a sense of logic is something that is valued when it comes to the audience that I'm trying to present to. And B, don't know why I'm holding up number 2, but B, I am presenting my story to the two people who know me the most, including the one who's known me my entire life, and he was confused. What did I think people who never met me, never saw me would think? How in the world did I think that they were going to be able to just get me when the people who know me the best didn't get me through this statement? So I cannot impress upon you the most to listen to your editing board. If you're going to actually use their time to get their feedback, it's a good idea to listen to them. And ideally, you've spent time trying to think about who you are choosing on your editing board. because, like I said, I felt like the kind of logical, kind of no nonsense attributes of my dad and my fiance kind of helped balance out my energetic and whimsical nature. Whimsy doesn't always translate in an essay. You know, it's great for YouTube. You know, I can move my hands around, I can smile, but having all of that reflected in my essay requires a sort of structure so that the logical of most logical, no-nonsense people can still follow it. So I think it's just going to be really important for you to keep that in mind. I'm going to continue to have more videos that give you tips on how to create your personal statement, but I thought that this is going to be really, really, really important to get this one out first, because I understand how stressful this season can be, and I really wanted to be able to offer something for you as you navigate it. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you think someone could benefit from it, please share it, and put your questions in the comments below. What questions do you have about application season? And I will start queuing up some videos on that. I went to business school, and I know a lot about business schools, but a lot of my tips do translate to grad school environments. So give it to me. If you're trying to get a master's in social work, if you're trying to get a master's in anthropology, hey, just come on, join the Brilliant AF crew, subscribe, because I have some really great content coming up that's going to help you not only get into grad school, but really survive it and ideally thrive. For me personally, I actually found what it felt like for me to thrive in the grad school environment, and I decided that I really wasn't going to revert back when I went to corporate. And I really hope that for you, whether you decide to go into corporate, the field, any destination that you have for yourself. So until next time, stay brilliant. I'll see you later.